You're a third-rate duelist with a fourth-rate deck.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Another month, another tier list for the ranked side of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. This month we have new additions to the list after the release of the most recent main box. On the contrary, one deck from last month is off the list and that is Blue Eyes. The deck did not perform that good in the KC Grand Tournament and also has a lot of tough competition. Not even worth its high price right now. But let's get to the actual tier decks for the month of July. Starting off with tier 3, we have Cyber Dragons. At this point I am about to call this tier the Cyber Dragon tier. Not a lot to say about this deck this month. One of the best OTK decks in the game. One mistake against them and you're probably done for. And I have to say, against the new decks, Cyber Dragons don't excel, but at the same time they are not absolutely outmatched. The matchups can go either way, mainly depending on the duelist deck lists. If you invested in Cyber Dragons, I think we can all agree at this point that your investment has already paid off. Next up, Ritual Beasts. I added them last month and they established a spot for themselves on the list. The deck is doing great with its fast and a lot of times overwhelming for the opponent's special summoning. When I put it on one of the best cheap free-to-play decks, I saw some people comment, needing you of a mini box is not free-to-play. Well, it is free-to-play and it will just take time to grind the gems, but apparently from the success of Ritual Beasts so many months after the release, 3 of a mini box can prove to be a great choice. They have a card on the ban list, but I don't see them being threatened by a new addition anytime soon. Next up, Element Sabres Invoked. Still a great deck, and the first time since the release of the deck that I think we see them in tier 3. But it has considerably dropped in popularity lately. Other than that, they can have some trouble in keeping up with some faster paced decks. But they still have the great ability to use some of the best stable cards in the game to deal with so many situations. The Invoked engine is still great and of course Destiny Draw still the skill of choice for most builds. Next up, Evil Eye. Here comes the first new arrival in the tier list. Evil Eye is a great control deck that came out of the latest main box. Its strategy does revolve around an amazing equip card and that also can be its downfall. But the longer you don't get rid of the Eye of Selene, the more problems you're going to have, because the deck actually gets progressively stronger over time. It possesses searching, recycling and a very strong trap card in Evil Eye defeat. Cosmic Cyclone of course can be a huge problem to deal with, so Double Cyclone can be a great choice to chain and destroy your own Selene before it gets banished by Cosmic Cyclone's effect. Since the deck uses quite a few life point draining effects, LP Boost A and Life Charge are probably the best skills for it at the moment. Moving on to tier 2, we have Heroes. They are here to stay for a long time it seems like. The deck has a lot of tools and of course OTK potential. It performed great in the KC Grand Tournament and it won't slow down anytime soon. On the contrary actually, if more hero support cards come in Duel Links, then it will get stronger. That's maybe a reason why Konami will consider limiting the deck a bit like they have done in the past. Next up, Black Wings. In a similar boat with Heroes to be honest. They did well in the KC Grand Tournament and still are a force to be reckoned with on ranked. It's on the expensive side to build, but the deck, like Cyber Dragons, has proven its worth a long time ago. They are still one of the most attack-oriented and aggressive decks in the game, and it seems like their builds have almost completely shifted to using Kaiba's peak performance skill. Next up, Witchcrafters. The second and last new addition to this month's list. Witchcrafters came in Duel Links with a bang, and also got some new great support not long after the release because of the DSOD TEA Gate event. The deck has actually seen many different successful deck lists. It has been played solo and as a hybrid with Invoked, Neos Fusion and even Lightsworn. I think Lightsworn has to probably be the best hybrid so far. Having amazing monster effects from Ver, Smita and Pitori, most of us knew the deck will be good. It has some incredible future potential and I think it can even grace tier 1 at some point, but for now I do not want to overestimate it just because it is super popular. Next up, Cristrons. The tier 1 glory did not last that long for them. but still they remain one of the best combo decks in the game. The reason I dropped them a tier this month is because the new main box introduced some new and tough matchups for them. And since Witchcrafters are very popular at the moment, Crystons cannot have a super easy climb anymore. For that reason, some new builds have emerged for Crystons, with the implementation of Sea Stealth Attack and Citadel Whale staying focused around the water type, of course, with Mako's Mythic Depths. And finally, Tier 1. First up, Dark Magician. A jump from Tier 3 last month to Tier 1. I considered putting the deck Tier 2, but this month it does an exceptional job on the ladder, so I had to put it at the first tier. The two main reasons for its ascent are the popularity of the new main box decks and at the same time Crystons having some trouble against them, so now they are seeing a bit less play, although Crystons are still an issue for Dark Magician. Nothing in the meta the Dark Magician cannot somehow overcome, so if you're playing it you have nothing to worry about. Sometimes Dark Magician's biggest problem can be the opening hand and not the deck it comes up against. A pretty versatile deck as far as skills go, and one can say even builds, because it can be paired up with Silent Magician for a spellcaster hybrid. Also, Kiku seems to have established itself like a very important card in this deck, since it's been played in a lot of successful deck lists. Next up we have Siranui, of course. Another deck for which not a lot of stuff have changed. Got new competition of course, but still an easy to build deck from a mini box that has great plays and the ability to get an explosive win or have a control based game plan. Level augmentation remains the best skill, but people have been experimenting with other stuff like level duplication. Ballista Squad, Vintage Chain and now Forbidden Lands have all been great additions to the deck that doesn't seem to use the new supported god in the latest minibox. And that's my tier list for the month of July. Do not forget to comment down below if you agree or disagree with some of my picks, and of course why. Give a like to the video and subscribe to the channel to not miss the next month's tier list. Thank you so much for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.